Good evening, everyone. How are you? Should we start if everything is okay? Audio is okay, video is okay, guys? Please confirm so that I can start. Is audio video good? Good, guys? Well, anyone's first class, that means you have not done part one, part two. Is there anyone who has done no classes till now? Good evening, children. Is there anyone's first class, that means you have not done part one, part two? Well, you have not done. When you have not done, but you registered earlier, because I know anyone else. Until you have done the classes earlier. So this is also your first class, which is fine. It's okay. You have given the exam, not given the exam is irrelevant. I'm asking, have you done the classes earlier? Why I'm saying so? If you are starting your classes, you are starting the EA journey with part three, don't start your EA journey with the part three, guys. Because there is going to be some referencing of the part one also, some referencing of the part two also. Sure, we'll not spend too much of a time in explaining what is done in part one, part two. So it's better you don't start with this. We will start with a new batch of part one in some time and for part two also in some time. So I suggest you to start either with the part one or part two rather than starting with the part one. Okay? Because there are many things you will not understand in that case. Clear what I'm saying, guys? I'll give a brief background what we have done in part one and part two, guys. And then I'm going to start, guys. People who have already done the classes with me, part one or part two, 5 minutes, I'll just quickly do recap what we have done it, broad recap, so that you will understand the terminology what we have done. Okay. So now, part three, guys, is the smallest one. If you see the content wise, it is going to be the smallest one. Yeah. This is going to be the smallest one. The bulkiest one is part two, guys. So the number one is this, then part one is number two, and part three. So it is going to be smallest. I think we can finish within 14 to 15 classes also. So you can easily finish in 14 to 15 classes. But you have done part one, Bhavya, right? Yeah, just fine. You should have done either part one or part two before the part three classes. Okay. No problem. Basic I'll cover with the part one, guys, what we have done in the part one. Part one, as an individual, which form do you file, guys? As an individual, which form do you file? We file 1040 dollars. EA, which taxation we are going to do in the EA? In EA, we are going to do income tax, and especially I'm going to do with you which income tax? Federal income. Do we have the other category of the income taxes? Yes, we are having the state tax also. We are having the local tax also. This is not in our course, so we didn't want to do this. Federal income tax is something we are going to do. Besides that, we are going to discuss gift tax, state tax, Medicare tax, FICA, social security taxes, all these taxes also we are going to do it in addition to the federal income tax. Um, as a 1040, you will show everything in the gross income. In US, we do not have the concept of head concept, salary head, house property head, capital gains. The way it works in India, we do not have any head concept in US, guys. Simply, we are having the gross income. In the gross income, we are going to include every income, guys. From this, we are going to reduce adjustments. Adjustments are the deduction which is related with the taxpayer. These are the expenditure reduction. You will claim that, guys. For example, one of the adjustment reduction is HSA. That means if you are contributing for your health, guys, or maybe you are paying your interest on student loan. That means you have taken the loan for your education and you are paying the interest on that. So those kind of things we will discuss in the adjustment, guys. After that, guys, whatever is coming, we call it AGI, adjusted gross income. From this, what do we reduce, guys? We reduce standard deduction or itemized deduction, whichever is higher. Then from this, we are going to reduce QBI deduction. And then eventually, whatever is coming, we will call it tax levy. Okay. What is the other name of QBI deduction, guys? What is the other name of QBI deduction? Below the line, what else? Section 199A deduction. Section 199A deduction. How many slabs do we have, guys, in US? How many slabs for the individuals we have? For individual, how many slabs do we have? We are having two slabs. One is for normal income, which is going to be 10 to 37%. Then we are having a slab for the preferential income, which is going to be 0 to 20%. What about this? This is going to be for the LTCG, long-term capital gain, and the qualifying dividend tax. Okay. So on that basis, you are going to calculate the tax. US. In US, what do we have? Do we have the progressive taxation or the flat? US income tax, US federal income tax. It's a progressive taxation. Progressive taxation means as your income is increasing, your taxes will also increase in that case. That's a progressive taxation. Any taxation we have done which is not progressive, which is flat, any taxation which we have done it, which is not progressive, which is flat. Indirect tax. You know, I'm saying in our classes, anything which we have done it, maybe part one. State tax is also not a flat tax. State may be slab. Social security taxes, correct? FICA, Medicare tax, that is flat. Whatever is your income, we are going to charge 6.2%, 1.45% in that case. So yeah, that is going to be flat taxation. Guys, clear? Self-employment tax. People who are doing first class, I know this sounds a little overwhelming, but I'm just revising whatever we have done it. I'll discuss almost 80 hours these items in that course, so don't worry about this. Okay. From this, guys, I'm going to reduce from this whatever the taxes we are going to calculate. From taxes, we are going to reduce tax credits. Tax credit will be reduced from the taxes itself. Few items. In India, we call the person assessee. But in US, we are going to call taxpayer. In India, we use the concept called assessment year, previous year. What do we use in US, guys? We use tax year. Tax year. India can be the law is changing. Now the law which will be applicable from the next year onwards, India can be a tax year hua karega. Assessment year, previous year will also be finishing in India. Which is good. The authority which governs in India, so Indian Act is governed by Income Tax Act 1961, which is going to be repeated, which is going to be deleted. In US, we are having IRC, Internal Revenue Code. The way we are having Income Tax Act, similarly, we are having IRC. This is governed by, income tax in India is governed by which authority, guys? It is governed by CBDT, Central Board for Direct Taxes. In US, it is governed by IRS, Internal Revenue Service. CBDT falls under which ministry, guys? It comes under Ministry of Finance. IRS comes under DOT, Department of Treasury. Clear, guys? Now, Department of Treasury, DOT, they have issued a circular. They have issued a circular which says that as an EA, how you're going to represent your client. So everything is going to covered in circular. This circular is circular 230. So going forward, we will have a lot of referencing of circular 230. So in short, we will call it TC 230. We will call it C 230 also. Okay. So Department of Treasury has issued the circular, how you're going to represent the client, guys. Point here. Can only EA represent? Can only EA represent the client, guys? Can only EA represent the client? CPA can also represent, attorney can also represent in that case. So TC 230, C 230 is not applicable only on you. That means it is not only on you. This is applicable whoever can represent. That means CA also, CPA also, EA also, attorney also, and other people. I'll talk about that also. Point clear what I'm saying, guys? Any question till now? Any doubt, any question? No? Should I repeat anything? Pritesh, clear? TC 230 will have a lot of provisions in this case. So most of the part three is all about the TC 230. That means what you are going to consider, what you need to do in that case. This is something we are going to do in TC 230. Sure. We got the VGLD book, guys? No. Quickly read this first para. Here to here. Is it visible? My screen is visible, guys? People, is it visible? Quickly read and confirm. Let me know once you're done reading. When a tax dispute or the disagreement occurs, a taxpayer might need to appear before the IRS. Enrolled agent, CPAs, attorney, and other authorized individuals can represent the taxpayer in such situations. This study unit covers the different professional permitted to practice before this. Their conduct standard and the requirements is for the EA also. Authority to practice. Rules of the practice, the regulation for practicing IRS are outlined in the TC 230 regulations governing the practice before the IRS. So is TC 230 only for the ES, guys? Is TC 230 only for the ES? Is TC 230 is not only for ES, guys. Going forward, many places, if not here, then maybe in some MCQs also, you may find a terminology called FATP. FATP. FATP is federally authorized tax practitioner. Same thing, same point. If you are authorized, then you are also called FATP. So either I will say whether EA, CPA, attorney, or sometimes I can frequently interchangeably call it the FATP also. I'm just telling you so that whenever you're reading this, don't get confused. It is the same thing, guys. So you are also FATP, federally authorized tax practitioner. Guys, clear? Everyone? Yes, no? People, any doubt? Not clear? I hope it is no doubt. Any question, people? Bhavya, Gagan, Riddhi, Sumit? No? Guys, this topic, part 3, will be a little boring, so I can't help it. This is going to be slightly boring because ये सिर्फ regulations है ना कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना तो it's more like a conditions, it's more like a इसमें कुछ बहुत एक्साइटिंग जैसे हमने पार्ट 1 में काफी कंडीशंस वगैरह करते हैं पार्ट 2 में प्रैक्टिकल करते हैं कुछ नहीं थोड़ा बोरिंग है सो व्हाट आई डू इट मैं बहुत ज्यादा नहीं केयर करूंगा क्लास के अंदर अदरवाइज इट इज गोइंग टू बी टू मच मोनोटोनस we'll do it and we'll try a lot of questions also. In fact, I'll try to finish almost all the questions, guys, so that you can see how we are applying that also. So I'll mix and match with the MCQs and the classes also, guys. Otherwise, it would be a little boring for you to do that also. Okay. Now, I'm saying authority to practice. Practice what? Practice before IRS. That means, can you practice before the IRS? Now, practice before IRS, and we call it India mein what kind of a practice? India mein we call it na, that this person is having a practice. Give me any example of any practice. India के अंदर भी CA की practice होती है, right? This is different. In our context, what we understand from a practice, no, कि ये this person is having CA practice, this person is having doctor's practice, right? This is different. And what we are saying here is practice before IRS is different. They are not same. Just because it is coming practice here, just because it is coming practice here, it is not the same thing. Point here. When I'm saying practice before the IRS, I mean that I can represent my client in front of IRS. That means any issue comes, any meeting needs to be attended, I can go and represent my client. In case any kind of a hearing is happening, I need to represent my client, I can go and do that. Is that clear? CA practice is a different point, guys. CA practice, it could be very well that you are running a CA practice, but you're not representing your client. Entire CA practice is all about form filing. So I'm not representing my client. Point clear what I'm saying? Difference clear, guys? Yes, no? So generally people get confused with that also. IRS is conducting any kind of an investigation on your client. Okay. IRS is conducting any investigation on your client, and IRS has called you as an EA to appear as a witness. That means whatever the taxpayer is saying, that means your client is saying, IRS has called you that please verify whatever the client is saying is correct or not. When you are going to represent, when you're going to appear as a witness, can I call it the practice before IRS? If you are going to attend as a witness, then you are not going to be called as a practice before the IRS. Right? You're just going there and being there as a witness also. So it is not the practice before the IRS. Clear, everyone? Let's. Practice before the IRS involves presenting to the IRS or any officer or the employees any matter concerning the taxpayer's right, privileges, or liability under the laws administered by the IRS. Representing the client, guys, representing clients before IRS. When I say representing, it includes communicating with the IRS on behalf of the taxpayer, advocating for the taxpayer during the conference, hearings, meetings with the IRS, preparing and filing the necessary documents with the IRS for the taxpayer, providing the written advice concerning any entity, transaction, plan, arrangement with the potential of the tax evasion of this. So that means you are giving your advice in that case. So these are considered as the representing. This is something representing client means, guys. This is something which is practiced before the IRS. It is do list. It is allowed. Now I'm telling you non-practice activities. That means if you are doing any of them, would it tend to amount to practice? Would that be considered as a practice? That will not be considered as a practice. That's it. If you serve as a witness, that means you are going and appearing as a witness, then it is not a practice, guys. You are supplying information when requested by the IRS. You're not representing anyone. IRS is asking something, You are giving that information in that case, that will not tend down to practice. You are preparing return, amended return, and the fund filing. So again, if just because I'm filing that, I'm preparing the return, guys, does not mean I'm practicing before the IRS. Point clear what I'm saying? So here we are having two meanings. One is as a EA, you might be filing someone's return, taxpayer key return, you are filing it. Then you will be acting more like a TRP. TRP is tax return preparer. Tax return preparer. So just because you are making the return for this person, that means you are practicing before the IRS? No. TRP is separate and practice before the IRS is separate. Is that clear or not? Guys, clear? No, should I repeat? So three things we have done. पहले तो practice before the IRS, don't get confused. Practice before the IRS with the CA practice, what we understand in India. Second, practice is a separate point. Practice is a separate point, and return filing is a separate point in that case. Someone is working in India, someone is working with KPMG as an intern, and KPMG is giving that person 10,000 rupees per month. So how much total money KPMG is paying for a year? 1.2 lakhs. Is this person supposed to file the return? Is this person supposed to file the return? No, you are not crossing the threshold, so you don't need to file that. But KPMG has deducted the TDS, almost 10,000 rupees. If you want to claim the refund for that, now will you file the return? Or claiming the refund? Now you will file the that. So this is exactly the meaning of claim refund. Yeah, like a claim refund claim. So either we call it the refund claim, we can also call it the claim of refund. Same. So just because as a EA you are filing the tax return, someone amended return, someone's refund ka claim kar rahe ho, so you will not become practicing automatically, guys. Is that clear? Any question? No? Quickly read this. Who may practice? Read this. Besides EA, all the other people. These are the other people who can practice also. Quickly read up to here. Everyone has a book. It's okay. You read it from my people. Read page number 1 and 2. Only the yellow mark portion, guys. Confirm once you done. Done, guys. Only the authorized individuals, known as the practitioner, may practice before the IRS. The following individuals are authorized to practice. Attorneys are allowed, CPAs are allowed, EAs are allowed, enrolled actuaries are allowed. Enrolled actually double हो गया है ये. Actually, enrolled actuaries. Participant in the annual filing season, I'll talk about in some time. So these are the people who can represent the client, practice before the IRS, guys. If someone got suspended, guys, or disbarred by IRS, कोई भी ये है that got suspended or disbarred by IRS, can that person represent the IRS? Can that person represent before the IRS? If any EA, CPA got suspended or disbarred, then you cannot represent. Why would you get suspended or disbarred? Maybe you have done any of the disreputable conduct, guys. Disreputable conduct. Disreputable conduct. I'm on page number 10, guys. Sanctionable. We call it sanctionable incompetence and the misconduct. You have done anything wrong here, guys. It's a full list. Being convicting on if criminal offense किया है आपने, कोई criminal offense किया है regarding the duty, trust breach किया है, any felony. What is felony, guys? Felony is a kind of a crime, guys. Right? You have been providing enough false information and misleading information to the department, engaging in the prohibited solicitation, guys. You are supposed to file the return, but you're not filing it. Willfully, you are doing that. Misappropriation of the property. Should we learn that? No. Just read this. You don't need to learn this, guys. Absolutely not. These are just a small list of the same items. So whatever is the bigger list, we have a simple, shorter version of that list also. Absolutely no need to mug up, guys. If you see, it's very simple, no, guys. Something which is you have done wrong act, you have taken bribe, you have done, you have given the wrong information. So simple common sense, you have done something wrong. So in that case, the action can be taken against you. Maybe suspension, disbarred. What actions? I'll talk about that later. But I was telling you how you can be suspended and disbarred in that. There are two terminologies, guys. One is convict, and second is indict. Is it same? Convict, indict. Where it is final that you have done something wrong. In convict or indict, where it is final that you have done wrong. Convict. For example, agar we are pushing a charge on someone that this person has done the murder. So when you say that this person, you say tell another person that this person has done the murder. So that means you are convicting that person. You have gone into the court saying that this person has done the murder. Then is it the conviction? No. You are just accusing that person. We call it no. You're accusing that person. Right? That is that this person is not convicted. If the court gives the order against that person, then the conviction happens. Guys, clear what I'm saying? Yes, no. If the question is saying this person is indicted, that means someone has put a charges against that. For example, it can happen that client has pressed the charges against the EA. That EA was taking the bribe from me because EA is having all my information. So EA is taking the bribe from me. EA is blackmailing me. Wrong act, you have done the wrong act. But just because client has said you will not be suspended, disbarred, they will give you the opportunity to listen from your side of the story also. Maybe the client is falsely accusing you guys in that case. So just because someone is accusing does not mean you have done something wrong. Clear what I'm saying, guys? See, you have to be convicted, guys. Conviction is important, guys. Clear point, people? Yes, no? People, I know topic boring है, but समझ आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा? Okay. Should I move, guys? Clear? These are the people who can represent practice before the IRS guys. Let's do one by one. Attorney CPA. An attorney CPA must have a specific qualification to practice before this. So that means you should have a qualification. You should be attorney. You should be a CPA. Only then you can represent your client. You will file a declaration for each party. You will basically give the declaration that, boss, I am not suspended, I am not disbarred, and I can represent the client guys. That you hold currently the necessary qualification and you have been granted the authorization to represent the party, in that case, your client. And you must remain free from the suspension and the disbarment. So as an attorney and the CPA, you are going to give that declaration that I'm eligible to practice and I'm not under any kind of a suspension or disbarment. Same with the EA guys. EA is a professional distinct from the attorney CPA who is qualified, certified and authorized to practice the dealings with the IRS. EA is not permitted to represent any client unless they meet the necessary qualifications. Same funda that you are permitted to practice before the IRS, you are having the you are having the valid identification, so I can represent my client also to advise. EA must provide the proof of recognition when attending the initial first IRS office when they're representing the taxpayer. What do you mean by that? Generally, client will give you power of attorney that you can represent me. So you will show that power of attorney to the IRS that I'm authorized to actually represent the client. Individual will be authorized to practice before the IRS if they meet the criteria outlined in the circular 230. We discussed that. According to these C230, EA can represent a specific party by submitting a declaration stating that they is currently they are currently, or he or she may be currently qualified and has been granted the authorization to represent the party. So you will give that kind of a declaration, guys. Now, only individuals can be the EAs. Obviously, can any company become the EA? Can any partnership firm become the EA? Many EAs can make the partnership, but partnership can't be the EA, right? Individuals can be the EA, guys. US citizenship is not necessary. That's why you're doing it. Attorney CPAs are eligible for the enrollment, but it's not mandatory for them. Everyone, they automatically get the right to practice before the IRS. This is simple. You will conduct the exams, you will pass the exam, you will have the experience also in that. So simple. This is something we'll discuss if you're there. Guys, clear? Any question till now? Anyone, any question? Yes, Gupta. नहीं, this is the different experience. See, either Bhavya, you clear all the three subjects, right? You clear all the three subjects and become the enrolled agent, you get your license. Second way of becoming the enrolled agent automatically is if I'm working with the IRS for 5 years continuously, I get the enrollment agent license automatically in that case. Okay, so same thing we are saying. Previous experience with the IRS and relevant technical experience can qualify individual for the enrollment in that case. I'm having the 5 continuous service in that case. And I'm getting the recommendation from the senior officer in the employing division, then I'll get the IRS, I'll get the enrolled agent also. Clear? Okay. Now, one is, sorry, we'll discuss this. We will discuss this going forward. A lot of things we'll discuss. We'll discuss various EFIN numbers and many things we'll discuss on. Okay. Now, I've discussed with you that if you're attorney, if you're attorney, CPA, if you are EA, actuaries, I've discussed this point. These guys, enrolled actuary will not represent for every item. They are generally going to represent for the retirement related items only, right? Now, is it possible someone who is not having the credentials, that means neither I'm MS, CPA, EA, attorney, kuch nahi ho. I'm just a graduate. Can I represent someone? Can I represent practice before the IRS? That means I'm unenrolled person. I'm an unenrolled person. Can I represent the client? I may, but I am my rights. For example, you guys are EA, CPA, and I'm just a graduate. So I can represent, you also can represent in that case. Then what is the point of your qualification? You can reach at little higher level than me. I'll be discussing the matter at a very junior level in the IRS. You can reach at a senior level in the IRS also. You can go to the audit, you can go to into the appeals also. So that's a difference between the enrolled and the unenrolled. Is my point clear? I'll talk about that later, guys. Is that clear? What? Yes, no. So I discussed that few people, first you should be EA attorney, CPA. In that case, you can represent it. If you are unenrolled also, still you can represent it. Now I'm discussing more category, guys. I'm discussing more category of the people who may practice before the IRS as well. Guys, clear? Really clear up in here? Guys, अभी ना थोड़ा सा चैलेंजिंग लगेगा. I know थोड़ा सा बोरिंग है. It's not so interesting as part 1 or part 3. But when you're doing the question, no, a lot of clarity will happen there also. Okay. Now, other person who may practice before the IRS on a limited basis, right? Maybe you are having some kind of a connection. That's why you are representing in that case. For example, family, an individual is permitted to represent the immediate family members. So that means father is representing the son, mother is representing son, or husband is representing wife. So family member is representing each other. Point clear? Can you as a taxpayer represent yourself? That means can you practice before the IRS? You are not a, you are a client. You are a client. You are a taxpayer. Can you represent? Yes, you can do that also. Employee, if you are an employee, you can, as if you are an employee, you are a full-time employee, you can represent also your employer. Partnership, a general partner can do that. A general partner or the full-time employee can do it. Can limited partner not do it? Limited partner nahi kar sakta. What is the difference between the general partner and the limited partner? General partner takes the interest in the participation management of the partnership. General partner. Limited partner not take the participation in the partnership. So that means whatever the decision needs to be taken by, it needs to be taken by the general partner. Limited partner is very much like a shareholder, something we discuss in part 2 also, guys. Is that clear? So here it is very much possible that the general partner is representing the partnership, right? People who have done part 2, if you guys remember, we discussed you are making a DP. Remember DP AP I discussed with you in part 2. You're making the designated partner. Nine. Same thing. That's a, yeah, Harvey Specter scenario, correct? Then I told you that more than 100 hota hai, so mandatory hota hai aapke liye. Same thing here also. DP is that person only who is going to represent in that case. Correct? Any officer or the regular full-time corporate also you can represent that also. Fiduciary. Fiduciary means, what do you mean by fiduciary? We discussed that in part 1, I guess. What is fiduciary, guys? Good faith. You are acting in a good faith. So, for example, I have created a trust which is going to provide the education to underprivileged kids. So, I have hired a trustee who is going to run that trust. So, I'm expecting from the trustee is going to run this trust on a good faith. Trustee will not siphon off the funds. Trustee is not going to steal the assets in that case. So, I'm trusting the trustee, guys, here. Same, if person die, all the assets and liabilities of the person goes to a state, and state is run by any legal executor, guys. So we are expecting that legal executor is not going to mismanage the asset. They are not going to steal the assets in that case. Same, we are acting in the fiduciary capacity. So that means in that case, a trustee can represent trust. A legal executor can represent state, guys. Clear what I'm saying? Overseas, an individual is allowed to represent any person if the person is outside. So that means if person is outside, you're asking another person to represent you. Any student, attorney, CPAs, a student may be requested to practice before the IRS. Additional authorization, individual may receive the permission from the IRS Commission to represent others in a specific manner. Right. So if you're getting the permission, you can otherwise represent also. Guys, clear? I've discussed here one point which I have not covered yet is this. IRS annual filing season program. What is this, guys? Hmm? See, the whole idea is that if we say, boss, if you are a CA, you are a CPA, EA attorney, then you can file the return, then you can represent it. Then we are not going to create the lot of opportunities, right? Because US के अंदर it's not very common that हर कोई इंडिया के अंदर है कि we are so much obsessed about the degrees, हम ये भी कर लेते हैं, वो भी कर लेते हैं, 3-4 डिग्री और कर लेते हैं हम. US में they start working it, right? So maybe it is possible that no one is qualified in that case, but we want them to be employable. We want to generate the employment. That's why this is the program AFSP, guys. Is that okay? I'm just writing a note for that. Here you are going to train the people. Here you are going to train the people about the taxation aspect in that case. I'm writing a note on that. Annual filing season program AFSP is a voluntary IRS designed to promote non-credentials TRPs, tax return preparers, to participate in continuing education courses. Done, guys? Copy. Oh. I was saying that if you are a EA, CPA, attorney, versus you are unenrolled. Unenrolled का मतलब है you are have no qualification like this, right? You don't have these qualifications, or maybe AFSC. So let's call them as enrolled guys. Let's call them as unenrolled guys. Who will have more powers, E or UE? Who will have more powers? Or power would be same. Enrolled will have a more rights. मुझे कहना चाहिए. They'll have a more rights vis-a-vis unenrolled people. Point clear what I'm saying? In India, guys, there are various levels, right? As a CA, there are various levels. First, assessing officer, you are dealing with the assessing officer. If you're not satisfied at the assessing officer, where do you go next? Then you go to appeals, you go to CIT appeals. If you are not happy with the CIT appeals, then what will you do? Actually, इसके बाद AO के बाद आप CIT में जाते हो, फिर आप CIT अपील्स में जाते हो, CCIT में CIT अपील्स में जाते हो, फिर उसके बाद ITET में जाते हो. आप ITET से भी हैप्पी नहीं हो तो आप हाई कोर्ट में जाते हो, हाई कोर्ट से भी खुश नहीं हो तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाते हो, उसके बाद भी खुश नहीं हो तो आप भगवान को याद करते हो. Nothing happened beyond that. As a CA, as a chartered accountant, can you go and represent the client at the Supreme Court or High Court? No. You have no power. You need a degree of law for that. That means you should be a lawyer for representing in the courts, right? Maximum to what level as a CA you can represent? You can go up to ITET. Same there also, guys. I'll discuss that later. Hierarchy, I'll discuss that later, guys. Same in US, guys. We are having audit, or rather, we are having the few IS representatives, then more collection agents, then we are having the audit, then we are having appeals. After appeals comes the your courts. We call it trial courts. ट्रायल कोर्ट्स आती हैं, कई सारी ट्रायल कोर्ट्स हैं. देन उसके बाद एपलेट कोर्ट्स आती हैं. एपलेट कोर्ट के बाद फाइनली सुप्रीम कोर्ट आता है. पॉइंट क्लियर? सो इफ यू आर enrolled हो, that means you are a CA, sorry, you are a CPA, EA attorney, then you can go at any level in the IRS. जैसे इंडिया के अंदर भी आप सीए हो तो कैन यू गो टू सीआईटी अपील्स और सीआईटी? यस यू मे. Yes, you may. So within the department, you can go and represent the client. Same here also, guys. अगर आप enrolled हो, you can go any level within the IRS. Guys, clear what I'm saying? But if the matter goes to the court, then I cannot. Even if I'm a EA, CPA, I cannot go and represent my client. Clear, guys? Yes, no? So enrolled agent की power यहाँ तक है, guys. But if people are unenrolled, their power is up till here only. They'll represent only to the representative level itself. Is the point clear what I'm saying? This is limiting rights. We are limiting their rights in that case. Also. For unenrolled people will represent the client only for the returns, whatever they have prepared it, guys. What does that mean? That means 2018 return is prepared by A. A has prepared the 2018 return. 2019, you have hired maybe C for you representing you. C is an unenrolled person. So C is unenrolled person. Has C made the return for 2018? Has C made the return for 2018? No. A has made it. So C cannot represent, since the C is unenrolled person, C cannot represent regarding the 2018 matter, guys. Is my point clear? C might have made the return for 2019. So C can represent only regarding the 2019 matter, and that too at the representative levels. Is my point clear? Yes, no? Sure. Yes. Then you have no right beyond that. See that. I'm here, page number 2, guys. Attorney, CPA, EA, who are these guys? Attorney, ES, CPA, EA, who is this? These are enrolled guys. AFSP, others specially allowed in that case, these are unenrolled. I hope it is okay. Now, यहाँ पे लिख रहे हैं unlimited. But unlimited means can I go to the court also? Unlimited means can I go to the court? नहीं, court नहीं. Unlimited means है within the IRS. Within the IRS, go to any level, but beyond that I cannot. But this is going to be limited. Guys, here you can prepare the return, claim the return, sign the refund when completed, also substantially the refund in that case. Sign the returns when completed, also substantially in that case. Representation before anyone at the IRS, exam, appeals, any refund or the return. Before the IRS agent, customer representative, and the employees during the examination only, return that the TRP signed him for the period under the examination. So whatever you have prepared in that case, most part of it in the ASP to be specifically permitted practice in that case, so that you will get employability in that case. Tax advice, you can give that, guys. Unlimited tax planning, you can do it. You are limited to the return and the refund preparation only. Is it clear, people? Yes, no? Pretty clear? I have discussed many people who can do it. EA, CPA, attorney. Then we discuss, boss, even if you are not enrolled, you will have it. Then I talk to you about the few family members, some kind of a relationship you are having in that case, right? Now, we are discussing now I'll discuss with you who may not practice. So till now we were discussing the list of do's. You can also do, you can also do, you can also do. But now I'll be talking about who cannot represent, guys. Is my point clear? Everyone? Obviously, guys, anyone who's suspended or disbarred will automatically out here. Besides that, there are more people who are we going to discuss. Guys, clear, everyone? Oh, that's it. Individuals who are not authorized are prohibited. Who are not authorized are prohibited from practicing, guys. A member of the Congress. राहुल गांधी की बात करें क्या? Member of the Congress. Are they talking about Rahul Gandhi? What is Congress? वहां की कांग्रेस क्या है? रिपब्लिक, रिपब्लिकन्स, डेमोक्रेट्स, कमेटी, किस तरह की कमेटी? कांग्रेस मीन्स यूएस पार्लियामेंट, गाइस, यूएस पार्लियामेंट. A member of the parliament, a member of the Congress is prohibited from practicing before the IRS. Why? Because you are having at the authority level, you are having the power to influence people. That's why we are saying, boss, if you are a member of the Congress, you cannot represent. Point clear or not? Yes, no, maybe. Clear, Vidhi? In relation to any matter for which they are directly or indirectly receive, agree to receive, or seek any kind of a compensation. If they are going to receive any kind of a compensation, in that case, you can't represent that. An officer or the employee of the US in the legislative, executive, or judicial branch. That means you are into judiciary, guys. Since you are judiciary, again, you are holding the power, authority. So that's why we are not aligned. Or any of the agency which is not authority practice in that case will be allowed in that, will be prohibited, guys. Is that okay? So these guys, so simple point is, if you are a part of the parliament or you are the part of the judiciary, you cannot represent. Now I will be doing the exception of that. What is the meaning of the exception? What do you mean by the exception, guys? Exception means you can represent. Clear, guys? Except under the following circumstances. That means these two categories, can they represent or not represent? They can represent. These two cannot represent. Clear, guys? See that? A representative of the immediate family member. That means I'm saying, maybe though you are holding a judge position, you are into judiciary, you can't represent it, but judge can represent his son. So you can represent your family members. Is my point clear, guys? People. A personal fiduciary, same thing. You are a trustee, receiver, guardian, administrator, admin representing the fiduciary benefits. Again, these are the people wherein you can represent. So these are the two categories where you're going to represent here, guys. Now, a state employee involving in the investigation, ruling, or handling the state matters is also again prohibited, guys. An individual convicted with any offense, obviously, वो तो out ही हो जाएगा. If you are suspended or disbarred for anything, then you are going to be out, guys. I hope it is okay, people. Uh, this is what we have already done. Limited practice. Please read, guys. Page number 4. 8th point. Confirm. Consider. Done, guys? Done with this? Which one? 8th point done. This point you're saying, Richard? No, we have not done this, no? Richard? This is not, I have not asked you to read this. We are not done this. We'll discuss this. Oh, I'll move, guys. Hmm. I'll be talking about privilege communication, guys. Privilege information, privilege communication. Hmm. In any relationship does not mean husband and wife kind of a thing. Any arrangement, guys. Let's say you as an EA and the client. This is a relationship, right? Like a professional relationship. In any relationship, you have seen there is a privilege. Privilege means you can't share whatever the other person is saying. That information you cannot leak out. You cannot give it to someone else. Where you have seen such kind of a privilege in any relationship. Hmm? Is point clear what I'm saying? No. एनडीए तो मैंने साइन कर लिया रिद्धि बट आई एम सेइंग जनरली कहाँ पे होती है बाय डिफॉल्ट होती है मुझे साइन करने बिना भी होती है अटर्नी क्लाइंट प्रिविलेज एब्सोल्युटली बट कंसल्टेंसी में भी अगेन यू साइन द एनडीए ना विदाउट एनडीए नहीं होते इफ आई एम हायरिंग ईवाई फॉर सेलिंग माय कंपनी तो आई विल साइन एन एनडीए विद द ईवाई बॉस डोंट लीक दैट इंफॉर्मेशन दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग टेल मी नो वेयर फॉर एग्जांपल any kind of a attorney client. That means if this person has been accused of murder, इसने murder किया है, and attorney meet this person, lawyer जाता है उसे मिलने. You have seen that in the movies also. That जब भी attorney और जिस जो भी accused है, whenever they are talking, is the police sitting in that room? जिस रूम में attorney or the murderer बात कर रहा होगा, they don't, police is not allowed to sit in that case because the person who has been accused, they are having the right to speak with the lawyer, guys. So here, even if this person says that yes, I have done the murder, can this lawyer go and tell in the court कि हाँ इसने मुझे बताया था कि इसने murder किया है? It's a privileged information, you can't leak that. Point here. जबकि कुछ साइन नहीं किया है, nothing you have signed it, but by default it comes like that. Point clear? Really clear? Somewhere else you have seen such relationship? Anywhere else you have seen such kind of a relationship? Good point. Doctor patient. Doctor patient. So if patient is getting treated, any celebrity is getting treated by the patient, doctor cannot go and say that I have this person as my celebrity, or celebrity as my patient. You can't go to the media and tell that. So you are having a privileged communication here, guys. Is that okay? नहीं, practically भी क्यों नहीं? As a CA, you are not supposed to share that information. हाँ, मतलब आप बता देते हो वो एक अलग बात है. You mean to say client will go and tell that? Is that what you say? Client will go and tell. CA जाके बता देगा. वो तो मेल आप खुद ही बोल रहे हो ना मेल प्रैक्टिस होगी जो वो आप ही कह रहे हो मेल प्रैक्टिस है. What you are saying? Many CA heard of that statement. But you're right. With the CA and the client is also having the privilege commission. Correct. Why we are talking about this? I'm saying because as a FATP, federally authorized tax practitioner, and your client, maybe you are giving any kind of advice, any tax planning you are doing that with that person, you are also having the privileged information. So generally, guys, if IRS is asking any information from this person, if IRS is asking any information from a federally authorized tax practitioner, IRS ने कुछ information मांगी है regarding the client, it is your duty to promptly provide. It is the duty to promptly provide. ऐसा नहीं आप डेली डेली कर रहे हो, आप एक महीने बाद दे रहे हो. You're supposed to promptly provide. But if you think, if you are having a reasonable ground, whatever they are asking you guys, that information is a privileged information, then you are not going to share that. Is my point clear? This privilege, you are having the privilege. But I will discuss the scenario where the information, you can't take the advantage तो नहीं बोलना चाहिए. You can't take the, क्या बोलना इसको, you can't cover it under the privilege, guys, right? You can't cover under the privilege. You can't say, boss, ये तो privilege information है. Now I'll be talking about, you can't say that it is the privilege information. This will happen whenever any kind of a criminal investigation is going against the client. Is my point clear, guys? Yes, no? So first I discuss with you, as a FATP and the client, you are having the privileged information and communication. That means whatever the kind of advice you are giving to the client, it's a privileged information. And if IRS is asking, you can say no to that. But if the criminal investigation is going against the client, you can't take the advantage of the privilege. You can't say, boss, you the privileged information, I can't give it. No, you are supposed to give it, guys. Is my point clear, guys, what I'm saying? Yes, no? That's again, whatever we are talking about here, that means FATP and the client we are talking about. This only pertains, this privilege only pertains and restrict only for the IRS. What do I mean by that? That means if any other agency is asking that information from you, if any other agency is asking this information from you, maybe FBI is asking this information from you, maybe SEC is asking that information from you. To those authorities, I can't say, boss, it is the privileged information. I can't say this is the privileged information. Point clear what I'm saying? So basic point is privileged information, privileged communication will work only in case of a IRS. IRS में भी हर जगह नहीं. Only in the IRS if the matter is not the criminal matter. If the matter is a criminal matter, guys, I can't take the benefit of that. Point clear? But if it is regarding the other authority, FBI is asking anything, CIA is asking anything, SEC is asking any detail from you, in that case, I can't take this any information. I can't take privileged benefit here, guys. Is my point clear, people? Let's read it from the book. Read page number 12, guys. Done? quickly read this. Page number 21. Let's do it. Confidentiality privilege for the non-attorney practitioner, because attorney का अलग हो गया. Attorney will work for the attorney and the client privilege. The confidentiality privilege is extended to the specific non-attorneys. That means FATP in our case. In non-criminal proceedings before the IRS, a taxpayer is entitled to the same common law protection of the confidentiality regarding the tax advice as any FATP with the advising the clients as an attorney. Guys, clear? This is okay? The privilege also applies in any non-criminal proceedings in the federal courts involving the US, whether brought by against. Privilege cannot be used to withhold the information from any regulatory body other than the IRS. That means here my privilege will not work. Guys, clear? The privilege cannot be used to withhold the information from any regulatory authority other than IRS. Clear? Really clear? What is FATP? We have done it. Federally authorized tax practitioner refers to the non-attorney permitted to practice before the IRS, including EA, agro lectuaries, or the CPA side. Tax advice means simple, you are giving the matters, individual matters that will fall within the authority to practice. Privilege does not extend to any written communication between the federally authorized practitioner and the company's director or the representative in the tax shelter cases, right? So if you have given any advice where we are having any kind of a tax evasion, so I can't take the advantage over there, guys. So again, I can't take the benefit of a privilege over there also. Clear, guys? What is tax shelters? I'll cover that later, guys. So what I'm saying is privilege does not extend. That means here privilege will not work, Riddhi. Clear? Where the practitioner and the company director, company का कोई भी officer, right? You write your question first. Everything I'm talking about CPA and EA only. Everything what we are talking about CA and EA only. So privilege will not work here. Here the privilege will not work if I'm trying to promote the tax shelter. If I'm promoting the tax shelters, that means if the matter is regarding the tax shelters, then the privilege will not. Is that okay? Sometimes privilege will also not work if I need that information for the purpose of calculating the taxability also. What do I mean by that? For example, you have filed a return. As an EA, you have filed a return and you are saying this is the salary of that person is $10,000. Capital gains is $14,000. Total gain, tax, whatever is coming, so and so tax is coming. So you have filed that information, you have filed the return with the IRS. Now IRS is asking you that, boss, you are saying capital gain is 14,000. Do one thing, give me a demat statement. Give me a capital gain statement so that I get to know that how you have arrived at $14,000. Point clear? I can't say, sorry, this is the privileged information I can't give you. Is that clear what I'm saying? See, if it is regarding to determine कि boss कैसे आया, ये tax कैसे आया, and if IRS is asking this from you, then you can't say, sorry, I can't share the demat statement from you because it is a privileged thing. Clear what I'm saying, guys? So what we have done, in what scenario privilege is not going to work? Privilege will not work whenever it is the matter regarding non-IRS. That means any other authority, SEC, FBI, CIA, agar anyone else is asking that thing, then privilege will not work. Guys, clear? Yes, no? In IRS, it is going to work. In the case of a IRS, it is going to work. But IRS में भी हर जगह काम नहीं करेगा. IRS में भी if the matter is regarding the criminal, then will it work? If the matter is regarding the criminal proceeding, will it work, guys? No. If matter is regarding the determination of the income, determination of the tax, we discussed this point. Again, this is not going to work. Then what is the third category? If it is the promotion of the tax tax avoidance arrangement we are having. Again, this is not good. Tax shelters we are having. Clear, guys? This entire summary is clear. Let's read it now. I'll go back. Last वाले बताया था मैंने आपको भव्या that you are not supplying the demat statement, capital gain statement, whatever they are asking to determine the income. What is going to be the taxability? So you are not providing that. Situation where you are contacted directly. If a recognized representative unnecessarily delay or obstruct an examination, investigate by repeatedly provide the non-privileged information. जब information privileged नहीं है, then why are you holding it, guys? Needed for the process. The IRS employee handling the matter may seek the permission from the. I'll talk about that later. वो कर लेते हैं. Will take the IRS employee handling this may seek the permission from the immediate supervisor to contact the taxpayer directly for the required information. What do you mean by that? That means you are an EA, IRS is continuously asking the information, you are not providing that information. Even that information is not a privileged information, but you are not providing that information. In that case, that IRS, in that case, the person can contact directly to the taxpayer itself. Guys, clear what I'm saying? I'll talk about this more. I'll talk about this more when I'll talk about the power of attorney, which I have not done with you to discuss. Sorry guys, I have to move in multiple places because book थोड़ी unstructured है. Multiple चीज same चीज कई जगह लिखा हुआ है. You might be wondering why I'm doing it. वो same topic कई जगह multiple times लिखा हुआ है. So sorry on that. Page number 71 we have already done it. If you read that. This is under section 7525, but आपको याद करने की जरूरत. That's how it is. किसी भी तरह की टैक्स एडवाइस दे रहे हो आप, टैक्स प्लानिंग कर रहे हो, तो वो दैट वी कैन से. Done, guys? कोई भी बना सकता है. Why only ये? Anyone can make. Okay. Oh, from that angle you are saying. अच्छा, अच्छा, हाँ. बट LLCs बनाते हैं ना, LLP बनाते हैं इंडिया के अंदर, राइट? LLC नहीं बनाते, LLP बनाते हैं इंडिया के अंदर, तो अलाउड है ना. एज अ इफ आई एम अ CA आई कैन मेक LLP. हाँ. ओके. For practice, you are saying no, not for the practice. For practice, there are special entity you can create also, which is PSC, Personal Service Corporation. Also, you can make it. I'll talk about that later also. Uh, Everything will be covered in that 230 in that case. So you can make PSC also in that case. You can make the LLC also in that case. You'll see that. Okay. If client is giving you any information, guys, if client is giving you any information, client is giving you last year return, right? Last year return, आपने prepare नहीं, someone else has made it. So person has given you last year return, person has given you W2. W2 is just like a form 16 in India, guys. Client has given you multiple 1099 also. So client has given you multiple things in that case, guys. So in this case, are you going to investigate on every item? कि यार मैं चुपचाप जाके पता करूँ ऑफिस में कि कितनी है सैलरी इसकी, मैं किसी और से पता करता हूँ, कोई डिटेक्टिव हायर कर लिया कि यार कितनी सैलरी है इसकी, कितना कैपिटल गेन है, विल यू डू दैट? Is my point clear? Should I repeat? No, tax as a EA. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. I'm saying your client has given you the documentation, various documentation to you. कि लास्ट ईयर की रिटर्न ये है, मेरा कैपिटल गेन्स ये है, मेरा W2 ये रहा, मेरा 1099 ये रहा. क्लाइंट ने सारी डिटेल्स आपको दे दिया. इज इट मैंडेटरी फॉर यू टू इन्वेस्टिगेट ऑन दैट? नहीं. You will, on the prima facie, if everything looks okay in that case, then you are not going to investigate. Clear what I'm saying? But whenever you are finding anything which is contradictory, guys, that means maybe the person is giving you W2. W2 के हिसाब से salary आ रही है उसकी $60,000. But initially when you are having the meeting with the client says that his income is $40,000. Same, client says that capital gains income for the client is 30,000. But आपने जब डीमेट स्टेटमेंट निकाला, डीमेट स्टेटमेंट के हिसाब से the income is coming $80,000. So whenever there is a more contradiction, in that case, you are going to investigate that. Clear what I'm saying? नहीं, इन्वेस्टिगेट मतलब ऑब्वियसली मेरा वो मतलब नहीं है. अब ऑब्वियसली यू आर गोइंग टू इंक्वायर फ्रॉम द क्लाइंट ओनली. मैं अगेन वो नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि आप शर्लॉक होम्स बन जाओगे, but obviously you are going to investigate from the client in the sense that you'll investigate that why you were saying 40,000 but it shows for 60,000. You'll basically inquire from the client in that way. So client will substantiate in that case. Okay. Let's say 2020 last year return, 2023 return you have not filed. You have been appointed for filing the 2024 return. Now, obviously, you will see the last year return also, that what has been done. When you have seen the last year return, guys, there are many errors in them, guys. There are many items that may be omitted. Many items are missing over there. Or whatever the laws are there, those are non-compliance here. Those are non-compliant. So either there's a non-compliance, errors, or omission. Yes, सारी चीजें हो रही है, तीनों चीजें. What will you, as an EA, what will you do? Will you complain IRS? Will you complain to IRS? Will you not complain? Will you blackmail your client? मेरी फीस बढ़ा दे वरना complain कर दूंगी. Will you blackmail your client? मेरी फीस बढ़ा दो. No. No. In this case, you will tell the client the consequences of that. That boss, if you have not amended this, if you have not fixed it, then what is going to be the consequences? Penalty लगेगी, jail हो सकती है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. You will tell the consequences of that. Clear what I'm saying, guys? उसने बोला मैंने आपको 2024 के लिए रखा है, आप क्यों दूसरी में देख रहे हो? माइंड योर ओन बिजनेस. क्लाइंट ने अगर आपको बोल दिया माइंड योर ओन बिजनेस, तो फिर क्या करोगे आप? और 2024 की रिटर्न फाइल करो, आपसे कोई मतलब नहीं है. उससे ओके. दैट मीन्स क्लाइंट से बहुत अपने काम से काम रखो. डज इट मैटर? मुझे क्या पड़ा है, मुझे क्या पड़ी है? मैं तो अपने 24 की फाइल की रिटर्न फाइल कर दूं, मुझे क्या पड़ी है? नहीं, इफेक्ट आ सकता है क्या 2023 का इफेक्ट मेरी रिटर्न में आ सकता है 2024 में? गिव मी एग्जांपल। गुड पॉइंट। 2023 में जो रिटर्न फाइल की थी उसके हिसाब से लॉस है ऑलमोस्ट 40,000 का, तो आई हैव टू एडजस्ट इन 2024। दे आर हैविंग सम क्रेडिट व्हिच इज कैरिंग फॉरवर्ड मेनी आइटम्स, नो वी हैव डन इट। तो मेरे हिसाब से लॉस ही नहीं होना चाहिए था, तो इट इज गोइंग टू इम्पैक्ट ऑन मी। पॉइंट क्लियर और नॉट गाइस? तो इस सिचुएशन में मुझे क्या करना चाहिए गाइस? क्लाइंट सुन नहीं रहा है मेरी बात, देन व्हाट शुड बी डू गाइस? नमस्ते। इन दिस केस आईआरएस ने आपके ऊपर बिल फाड़ दिया है। आईआरएस ने बिल आपके ऊपर फाड़ दिया है। टीसी 230 कहता है कि अब जब ऐसे फंस जाओ तो अपना दिमाग लगाओ। सो बेसिकली दे से यू एक्सरसाइज प्रोफेशनल जजमेंट। टीसी 230 डज नॉट से कि बॉस क्विट द असाइनमेंट। टीसी 230 सेज बॉस अपनी अकल लगाओ, जो सही लगता है उस टाइम में वो करो। तो obviously whatever works for you in that case, in that scenario, you are going to apply that to your guys. I hope it is clear what I'm saying guys. Yes, no? Let's see it from the notes now. I gave you that option. You said no. Disclosure of the errors in that case, taxpayer must disclose any errors and disclose along with the potential consequences under the IR and the code or the regulation. So you will disclose, that means you will disclose to the client guys in that case we are talking about. Errors or omission guys. Should I remember this? इस सेक्शन के अंदर लिखा हुआ है? नहीं, डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम इन दैट। सो इट डील्स विद नहीं, you will not do that. Deals with the potential of the omission on the taxpayer return. It is specified that when the practitioner identify errors in any documents filed with the IRS by the client, they must promptly inform the client of the issue. Additionally, the practitioner must inform the client about the implication of that also. You should do it. Can you see that here? You must. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप चुपचाप बैठ गए, मुझे क्या करना, फालतू को मेरा काम बढ़ जाएगा। Don't do that. You must inform the client on the consequences, guys. Clear what I'm saying? Clear, Riddhi? Any question till now, guys? Should I move? Yes. Correct. वो ये what is conflict of interest, guys? What is conflict of interest? Hmm? Hmm. एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड है, अफेक्टेड है। एनी एग्जाम्पल कम टू योर माइंड? सप्लायर वेंडर। First, let's understand what is the meaning of. First, let's understand what is the meaning of conflict of interest. For example, if someone is a judge, so as a judge, it is expected out of you that you will be neutral, right? You are not going to do any kind of a partiality in that case. You'll be neutral here, guys. But now the case has come against this person. This person has been accused of a murder, guys. And this person is a son of a judge. Now will the judge be impartial? Maybe the judge is going to be partial here, so judge will not have a cannot apply the judgment rationally in that case because there is a conflict of interest here, guys. Point clear what I'm saying? This is what typically the conflict of interest. I hope it is okay. Should I move? Same, guys, in your case also. If you are having any kind of a conflict of interest, guys, maybe because of the because of two clients, maybe because of the dealing with the IRS, maybe any employee and the client, you are having any kind of a confidential, any kind of a conflict of interest. If you are having conflict of interest, should you take the assignment or not? If there is conflict of interest, should you take the assignment or not? What do you say, guys? No. Right. Generally, whenever there is a conflict of interest, you should not take the assignment. I hope it is okay, people. Now I will be talking about the exception of that. What do you mean by the exception of that? वेव कैसे कर सकता हूं मैं कॉन्फ्लिक्ट? वेव तो हो जाती तो मैं असाइनमेंट ही ले लेता ना. Exception means that even if there is a conflict of interest मैं हटा ही नहीं सकता. How can I हटा सकता हूं मैं? नहीं हटा सकता. Even if there is a conflict of interest, I'll still take that assignment. Clear what I'm saying? जैसे जज का केस था, जज के केस में still the judge is saying no, no matter who is there, I'll give the verdict in that case. I'll give a genuine rational verdict in that case. Same we are talking about. Generally, if there is a conflict of interest, you will not take that as assignment. Exception means if there is a conflict of interest, still I'll take that assignment. Point clear, people? Really clear? Not automatically. There are few conditions. Obviously, you have to satisfy those conditions. If conditions are satisfying, you can take that assignment. If conditions are not satisfied, guys, will you take the assignment? You will not take the assignment. Clear? Let's discuss the conditions one by one. Very common sense driven condition, nothing technical here. First condition is that, boss, it should not be prohibited by law. लॉ में ऐसी प्रोहिबिशन नहीं है. दैट मीन्स लॉ ने स्पेसिफिकली कुछ मना नहीं कर रखा है इसके लिए. देन यू कैन टेक इट. नथिंग इज स्पेसिफिकली सेड नो. दैट मीन्स कोई भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आ रही है और वो सिचुएशन लॉ में मेंशन नहीं है. अगर नहीं है, देन यू कैन टेक द असाइनमेंट. पॉइंट क्लियर व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, गाइस? सो दैट्स द फर्स्ट कंडीशन, गाइस. Second condition, guys, you should believe that I will be able to take this objectively. Who should believe, guys? We should believe it. EA should believe in that case. As a FATP, as a tax practitioner, आपको लग रहा है नहीं नहीं कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, गड़बड़ हो जाएगी, मैं कर पाऊंगी नहीं कर पाऊंगी, मैं कर पाऊंगा नहीं कर पाऊंगा, तो फिर छोड़ दो उसको, मत करो. बट व्हेन यू बिलीव, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कोई भी हो, आई टेक द डिसीजन अप्रोप्रिएटली, आई नॉट गेट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड इन दैट केस, देन यू विल टेक दैट. पॉइंट क्लियर, गाइस, व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? Third, you will take, and very important one, you will take the waiver. From whom you will take the waiver, guys? From the affecting parties. जो भी affect हो रही है, very good point. Someone who is getting affected. हो सकता है दो client है, मैंने दोनों से ले लिया permission. हो सकता है husband and wife, they are getting divorce, and husband and wife both has appointed you, right? So you are telling husband also that I'm representing by your ex-wife. You're telling the wife that I'm representing by your ex-husband also. So you're telling them, maybe you're represented by two partners in that, whatever the scenario is in that case. So you are getting the waiver from the affected parties. Guys, clear what I'm saying? Plus, you will get the consent, written consent. You will get the written consent within 30 days, guys. Are we good? Are we supposed to satisfy is it 3 by 3 or is it 1 by 3? That means, am I supposed to satisfy all the condition or either of the condition? we are supposed to satisfy all the condition. That means 3 by 3, guys. I hope it is okay, people. Point clear? Now, whatever the written consent they have given, whatever the written consent they have given, it is your duty to keep it. To keep it for 36 months. 36 months means 36 months means 3 years. Clear, guys, what I'm saying? गाइस प्लीज इसको याद कर लेना, बहुत इजी है. बिकॉज अगर क्वेश्चन आएगा बहुत ही फ्लैट सीधे क्वेश्चन आएंगे कि रिटन कंसेंट कितने दिन में लेनी है, कितने दिन तक आपको होल्ड करना है. स्ट्रेट अवे क्वेश्चन आएंगे गाइस. पॉइंट क्लियर? नाउ लेट्स से it is a conflicting situation and you have satisfied 3 by 3. It is a conflicting situation, you have satisfied 3 by 3. Now can you represent your client? Yes, you can represent. Now you are dealing with the IRS now. But IRS to एक authority है ना. In the IRS, you might be dealing with any employee of the IRS, right? You're dealing with that. IRS employee is saying, boss, how you are representing? You are in a conflicting situation here, maybe because of the client. How you're dealing? How can you deal with that? So in that case, you may present the consent letter. Okay, boss, I have been given the consent by my client. That's why I'm representing. Point clear what I'm saying? So if the IRS is questioning you, that was how you are doing that, then whatever the consent copy you are having, you will extend that to employer IRS also, guys. This is okay? There's no. Delete from the book. I am on page number 52, guys. So sorry, 5. Conflict of interest. Read this and confirm. Page 5. All right, let's do it together. Again, no need to remember section number. Conflict of interest occurs if representing one client may negatively impact another client, or there is a substantial risk that the representation of one or more clients will significantly restricted by the practitioner obligations towards another client, prior client, or the third party, or due to the fractional personal interest in that case. So anyhow, it is going to impact your way of doing the work. Page number 6, condition for representing a conflict of interest. A practitioner may represent the conflicting interest before the IRS. So here, can I represent? Yes. if all the directly affected parties must provide informed written consent as soon as the agent becomes aware of the conflict, written consent must be provided within 30 days of the informed consent. Representation is not legally prohibited. That means it should be allowed by the law, guys. And the practitioner is having a reasonable belief that they can competently and diligently present the client, guys. Is that okay, people? Now, more pointers here. Retention and the disclosure of the consent. We discussed how many months you are supposed to hold on to it, guys. 36 months. So the practitioner must retain the copies of the written consent for at least 36 months after the conclusion of the representation of the affected parties, and these consent must be provided to any officer upon the request. So if they are asking you, you will ask them. You will provide that details. Guys, clear? Now, guidelines for the government-related conflict of interest. Now, these are the additional pointers. Additional guidelines for the conflict of interest. A former government employee who was involved in the transaction cannot represent or knowingly assess any party where you're directly involved. So earlier, guys, you were dealing with any of the IRS employee. Let's say matter pertains to 2019. And from 2019, you were dealing with the SAM. SAM works in IRS. So SAM was looking the matter. आपके जो भी client का matter था, SAM was dealing at that point of time. Clear what I'm saying, guys? After some point of time, SAM retire हो जाता है. So once the SAM retire, let's say in the year 2021, now can I take the SAM help of a SAM for the 2019 case? Can I take the help of a SAM for the 2019 case? No. Because SAM को सब पता है ना, इंटरनल सब पता है SAM को कि क्या किया IRS ने, कहाँ पे गोची मारी है, कहाँ पे क्या किया है, उसको सब पता है. So again, we can't take the help of the SAM. Clear, guys? So a former IRS employee who was involved in the matter handled by the IRS may not represent or assist anyone in that case. Clear what I'm saying? So no agent may knowingly accept direct or indirect consent from any government employee. If doing so would violate the laws of that, guys. If it is going to be the violation, guys. Clear? I'm extending this scenario. Let's say Sam ने एक firm create कर दिया. Sam has created the firm. Sam है, Sam के साथ दो तीन लोग और हैं, and these guys have created the firm. These other people were not the IRS employees. Sam था IRS employee, but these two people are not the IRS employee. इस firm को, let's say SFG, can I hire this SFG firm for my 2019 matter, guys? I'm not hiring Sam. I'm hiring Sam's firms. Can I do that? No. I can here. I can do that here, provided we isolate the Sam. Isolate Sam का मतलब नहीं है उसको जंगल में छुड़ाया आप Sam को जाके. Isolate का मतलब हुआ कि we are not going to involve the Sam on these matters itself. So if you are not involving the SAM on the matters in that case, then in that case, you can hire the firm, guys. Is my point clear? India के अंदर भी होता है, if you are seeing that, for example, if I am hiring EY, like I want to sell my company, let's say if I'm saying Tanishq. Tanishq has acquired Carrot Lane. So let's say Tanishq भी जाता है EY के पास और Carrot Lane भी जाता है EY के पास for the consulting. Tanishq is acquired by the Carrot Lane. So Tanishq is a buyer and the Carrot Lane is a seller. क्या दोनों की expectation same होगी? नहीं. Carrot Lane wants to sell as high as possible. Tanishq wants to purchase as low as possible. Guys, clear? तो इस केस में EY को दोनों का पता है क्या Tanishq क्या कर रहा है, क्या क्या Carrot Lane सोच रहा है, क्या कर रहा है, क्या डीलिंग है. Point clear what I'm saying, guys? So in this case, both the team, EY is taking it, but ऐसा नहीं है जो बंदा तनिष्क को एडवाइस कर रहा है वही सेम बंदा कैरेट लेन को एडवाइस करेगा. नो. Generally, there is a wall of China. There would be a separate team who would be dealing with the buy side of it. There would be a separate team who would be dealing the sell side of it also. So it happens. Consulting, it's a very common practice also. So those employees will not even talk about those deals, even if they are working same office, same floor, anything. They are not going to discuss that also. Same here also, guys. I will take the help of this firm, but we will not involve Sam in that case. Theoretically अच्छा लगता है, practically सबको पता है क्या होता है, but हाँ ऐसे ही है. So However, members of the former IRS employee correct firm may represent or assist a specific party in such a matter, provided the former IRS employee is screened, isolated, and does not participate in the representation. Is that okay? A practitioner cannot administer the oath, certify the document as a notary public in the matters where you're acting as the agent. Obviously, you will not act as a notary public. You will not attest the documents in that case also. Now, careful attention must be taken when preparing, assisting, approving the returns, guys, in that case regarding the matter. Any question till now, guys? Anyone in doubt? I'm just seeing if we have it one more place. All right. Guys, any question till now? No? Anshul, any question? Ritesh, Manit, Ja, Suman. I know थोड़ा सा boring है part one, part three. I can't help it, but I'll try to do a lot of MCQs also on that. Okay, no problem. Perfect. I'll see you guys at 8:40. We'll start. We'll stop for a break and we'll start from there. Thank you. All right, everyone, let's try all the question. I think there is some question about the TRP, which I'll discuss with you tomorrow. But no worries. Let's see. What is the answer, guys, here? Which of the following is not considered as practice? Preparing a tax return and furnishing information at the request of the IRC is not a practice, correct? Easy. Which of the following is not the practice before the IRS? Preparing a tax return for the individual. Which of the following is considered practice? None of the following is considered practice. Witness is not a practice. Furnishing information is not the practice. Tax return is not that. Please answer. E. Which of the following is not considered as the practice? Appearing as a witness is not. Same. Which of the following is not considered as a practice? Should be seen with the furnishing information at the request of the IRS is not the practice. Representing your client at the conference is the practice. What is not the practice? C should be the answer. Clear everyone? Guys, please try question. क्वेश्चन ही ट्राई करोगे तो कैसे एग्जाम पास होगा? Should try questions. Which of the following is not a practice? Same problem, I guess. Representing at the conference is a practice. Should know. Preparing and filing documents is a practice. Should know. Corresponding communication is that. Rendering written advice on the recent. It is not the practice. You're not representing the client here. Should be. Easy. Who is not eligible to practice? EA होता है should know. CPA होता है should know. Attorney होता है should know. Please answer. Certified financial planner. Which of the following qualifies? Very easy. Attorney, yes. Enrolled actuary, yes. CPA, yes. All of them. Guys, I'm going fast because I assume you have read the questions. अगर पढ़े नहीं है question, then it's not. Which of the following is correct? Unenrolled is only permitted to appear as a representative before the customer representative in that person. You was permitted to represent over the telephone on the collection. May receive the refund check. Answer is no. Is permitted to represent over the telephone. No. Unenrolled is an individual other than the CPA as a because is not required to sign up. डी भी ठीक है एक तरह से तो नहीं हाँ बट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड ना हो सकता है मैंने साइन ना किया हूँ एज अ प्रिपेयर आई डिस्कस दैट लेटर ऑल्सो तो जरूरी नहीं है कि टीआरपी है तो मुझे साइन भी करने की जरूरत है मुझे लगता है डी भी ठीक है लेट्स रीड सी अगेन you are going to only permitted to appeal before the customer care executive यहाँ ये गड़बड़ है only नहीं होगा ना I can customer service executives also you can be presenting to revenue officials also so other people are also allowed here I think D is a better answer what can be said okay ये अभी नहीं कर पाओगे आप इसको रहने देते हैं अभी बट हाँ आपका आंसर ठीक है हम कर लेते हैं चलिए व्हाट कैन बी सेड फॉर अ हु इज अ बार्बर बार्बर है और वो टीआरपी आप कह रहे हो आपका बार्बर आपका टीआरपी भी हो सकता है यूएसए वो रिटर्न फाइल कर रहे हैं नोटरी, तो ये तो फिर भी बार्बर है। बट एनीवेज कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता उससे, बट द पॉइंट इज बेसिकली द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इज that you are paying that money. So basic fundamental, I'll discuss that tomorrow also. Person is going to be TRP as far as that person is getting the compensation. You are right. These the answer. I understand your point. But here, if that person is getting the compensation with the, then the person is going to be TRP. Otherwise, not. I'll discuss that tomorrow. Easy. CPA who specialize in the federal returns, you can do all of the following. Correct. Easy. Which of the following not be considered as TRP? नहीं, लॉयर भी हो सकता है टीआर, एनीवन कैन बी टीआरपी, ईए भी हो सकता है, whoever is getting the compensation, lawyer also. All of the following are the TRPs. What is correct about the enrolled actuaries, guys? Correct. They are authorized to practice before the IRS for those issues concerning the retirement plan. We discussed that. Which are the criteria for person to be enrolled as EA? The applicant demonstrates a special competence in the tax matter. Answer is yes. The applicant refrain from engaging any conduct that would justify the, हाँ ये भी तो correct है ना अंशुल? I will not be involved in anything which will, because of which, जिसकी वजह से मुझे सस्पेंड कर दिया जाए या डिसबार कर दिया जाए, मैं क्यों करूंगा ऐसी चीज? करेक्ट. Applicant possess a current or the valid tax identification number. Correct. All are correct. Clear? अंशुल? Why B is also correct? ये मैं बाद में करूंगा, पर कर लेते हैं अभी. What action applicant take if the appeal is denied? Generally, you can do it. You can appeal against that within 30 days. Discuss that. No problem. Application for the enrollment, for enrollment in that case. That means आपके against कुछ case हुआ है. I'll talk about that tomorrow. I missed that actually. ये गलत आ गया, ये भी गलत आ गया. ये आपके बारे में बात करेंगे. हम लीविंग बुक्स ये कर सकते हो आप. Lewis is not considered. No. Remember money discussed with you just now. Lewis is not considered as TRP. Why? Because he's not compensated. That's why he's not. Not eligible to practice before easy state employee. Authorized to represent taxpayer before IRS. You're saying all of them. Regular office full-time employees, yes. Regular full-time employees, full-time employees, yes. Employees. These answers. Abel was requested by the client to represent him in connection with the audit. What can be said about this? नहीं. You must be की जरूरत नहीं है. Is practicing. You are practicing before the IRS. It's not necessarily must. Clear what I'm saying, Vidhi? Simple point is you are practicing before IRS. You are eligible to practice before IRS. So discussing standard for advising the client regarding the position and is preparing the signing the return. I'll discuss what is position later on, guys, after 4-5 lectures. So when you're signing the return, you're advising the client which of the following is true. True. A practitioner may not advise a client to submit a document if the purpose is to delay or impede the process. यानी आपको मालूम है कि बॉस ये गलत है, आपने अननेसेसरी डॉक्यूमेंट दिए जा रहे हो, डिले करवा रहे हो, जो नहीं करना चाहिए आपको, which is correct. B is correct. Let's see one more statement. A practitioner advising a client to take a position on the tax return or preparing a signed return as a preparer must inform the client of the penalties. हाँ, अगर आपने कोई भी ओपिनियन ले रखा है और आपको लगता है कि बॉस इस केस में ना अगर आपने ये पोजीशन ले रहे हो ना, पोजीशन लेने का मतलब क्या होगा कि मैंने ये स्टैंड लिया है, मैंने ये स्टैंड लिया है, तो उसमें अगर मैंने स्टैंड कुछ नहीं लिया है जो कि बहुत ऑब्वियस नहीं है, उसकी वजह से हो सकता है कभी मुझे पेनल्टी लग जाए। क्लियर व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? तो दिस इज ऑल्सो करेक्ट। आई एम सपोज टू टेल द क्लाइंट ना कि बॉस पेनल्टी लग सकती है आपके ऊपर। A practitioner advising the client to take a position in preparing and signing the return generally rely on the good faith. ये भी ठीक किया हमने। I will rely on the good faith. Generally, I will rely on the good faith without the verification on the information. जो भी information will be, I'll rely that information. The practitioner may not, however, ignore the implication of the information furnished and must take the reasonable inquiries if the information furnished is incorrect. अब मुझे लग रही है information गलत है, inconsistent है, then I will make the reasonable inquiries. This is also correct. Guys, clear? Please answer. All are correct. Which of the following is correct? D for this. Furnish the income at the request of it appear at this. All are correct. हाँ, statement है. What is the answer? Requested the taxpayer who do not have the person according to the taxpayer must. नहीं. So IRS requested the records from the TRP who does not have the possession. अब आपके पास नहीं है वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स, तो वो आपकी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है कि आप ढूंढ के लाओगे, कहाँ से लाओगे, क्या करोगे. दैट इज नॉट योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. यू विल नोटिफाई द IRS ऑफ द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ द पर्सन यू बिलीव किसके पास है. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि यार ये तो एक्चुअली के पास डॉक्यूमेंट है या ये किसी और के पास है, आप नहीं अरेंज करते रहोगे, बिकॉज दैट्स नॉट योर जॉब ना. IRS ने बोल दिया और आप पोस्टमैन की तरह घूमते रहोगे, दैट्स नॉट योर जॉब. विल नोटिफाई द IRS की कौन है. अगर क्लाइंट्स के पास है तो क्लाइंट से लेके आपने भेज दिया, बट क्लाइंट्स के पास नहीं है, किसी थर्ड पार्टी के पास है, तो आप थर्ड पार्टी से तो ना कलेक्ट करते रहो. क्लियर व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? तो शुड बी क्लियर इज. You need a registration and PIT in both actually. I'll discuss this also. I need both actually. You need the registration card also and you need the PIT also. Both are necessary. Easy. 230 contains the rules eligibility for becoming the EA and the renewal, yes. Rules regarding the disciplinary action, yes. Rules regarding the EA, all of it. Correct? All of it. EA takes into account the possibility that the return will not be audited. You take into account the circular events. You are saying B for that. Under the 230, which of the following situation, EA is prohibited from giving the written advice concerning the federal issues. ये इसकी वजह से प्रोहिबिट क्यों करूंगा मैं? So question is, which of the following situation EA is prohibited from giving the written advice? That means मैं advice नहीं करूंगा. Why would I not do that? See, for example, EA takes into consideration assumptions about the future events related to the relevant facts. For example, I am pushing some losses. मैं current year में losses को नहीं claim कर रहा हूँ, या we have discussed in part 1 also there are many losses I can defer for the future, right? If you remember, in part 2 I have done with you 179, section 179 also with you have done that. In 179 we have done it कि मैं अभी नहीं ले रहा हूँ, मैं फ्यूचर में ले रहा हूँ. मैंने डिस्कस किया था आपके साथ, क्यों ऐसा क्यों करूंगा बोनस डिप्रिसिएशन. वी डिस्कस बिकॉज हो सकता है फ्यूचर में मेरे प्रॉफिट ज्यादा आ रहे हो, इसलिए मैं आज नहीं ले रहा हूँ. तो है ना, ठीक है. ये टेक्स इनटू कंसीडरेशन assumption about the future event. तो आपको लगता है कि अभी तो अभी आप शुरू हुआ है बिजनेस आपका, इसलिए प्रॉफिट्स नहीं है बहुत ज्यादा, आगे पुश कर लो, तो ये अलाउड है, ये नॉर्मल है। पॉइंट क्लियर? what is going to be prohibited? ये takes into the account the possibility that the return will not be audited. आपको भी पता है इंडिया के अंदर ऑलमोस्ट 6 करोड़ रिटर्न फाइल करी जाती है, बट क्या सारी रिटर्न स्क्रूटनी में आ जाती है? नहीं, only 1% return comes under the scrutiny. Same with the audit in US also, guys. You file so many returns in US, but only 1% return comes under the audit, guys, like a scrutiny. तो आपने कहा कुछ भी फाइल कर दो, यू आर टेलिंग योर क्लाइंट कि कुछ भी फाइल कर दो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बिकॉज जनरली बहुत ही कम 99% रिटर्न ऑडिट में आती नहीं है। सो दिस इज समथिंग यू शुड नॉट टेक दैट। सो EA takes into account the possibility that the tax return will not be audited. That's not the way of doing it. Clear, guys? We'll do this last question. नहीं, इसको रहने दो। Under TC 230, which of the following actions? TC 230, which of the following actions is characteristic of the best practice? Whenever you are giving the best, whenever you are adopting the giving the service, what is the best service? Requesting for the written evidence from a client that the fee proposal has been approved by the board of directors. नहीं, written evidence जरूरत नहीं है इसमें। अगर साइन कर दिया है किसी भी CEO ने, CFO में, that's good enough. Establishing the relevant facts, evaluating the reasonableness of the assumptions, and arriving at the conclusion with support by the law. Correct. This is a better answer. Kushi should be the answer. Good. Perfect. I'll stop it here only. Rest of the questions and more topics I'll continue tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Good night.